What's up, partner?
Hi.
Oh, perfect video quality, perfect sound. Welcome, welcome. How you doing?
Good, good. Actually, my mustache is not doing that good. It looks like it's just like it's going down instead of going up.
Hi, Allison Park. Oh, that's funny, man. Allison's on, Andy's on. A few people logging in right now.
Okay.
A few people logging in. Hey, you got a New York hat on? Is that what it is?
I do, yeah.
Is this a pure coincidence or what?
Oh, no way. What was it?
I mean, I'd much rather be wearing a Denver hat, but still.
Nah, well, normally I do, but that one's in the other car, so anyway.
I got you. So okay, so people logging in, I don't know, I'm not sure if you know Denver or not, but Denver is part of Denver and Liley, some exquisite, awesome whiskey glassware that we're going to talk about briefly today. And I'm going to be toasting to the holidays in this beautiful glass. He's got the glass with him. You got some liquid with you too, or no?
I do. I'm just going to show you what I will be drinking. So,
Nice.
I'll just quickly give you, you can see there's gum trees behind me.
Yeah.
And this is a court. I was just shopping and I just stopped at the end of a court. And here's a park.
Where are you? What country? What country are you in?
I'm in Melbourne at the moment. Melbourne, Australia.
I think I saw a kangaroo in the background. Typical reaction from somebody who has no clue.
Yeah. And then here is what I'm drinking. I found a shopping trolley in the park. And this is McCarthy's Oregon Single Malt, which I'm really jamming with at the moment. I always come back to this one. It's probably one of my favorite single malts.
And what's that next to it? Is that a donut?
No, that's the.
I got you. The glass. I couldn't get a clear look of it. It just looked like a donut. I was like, donut, whiskey, and donut. Okay.
Yeah. No, I wish it was a donut.
Yeah. No, I got you thinking. So yeah, let's. So Instagram Live with Denver. Basically, we're going to talk a little bit about Denver and how he got in the industry. Talk to him about his beautiful glassware. You have three different types now, if I'm correct, right? You have a gin, whiskey,
yeah, we have. That's right, 3 at the moment, and there'll be a 4th next year. But, yeah, snap.
Nice.
Yeah, so 3 at the moment, 4 next year, and yeah, all seems to be going all right. So far, so good. Knock on wood.
Very cool. So in Australia, is it allowed to drink in the car? Because in US, it's not.
Well, I'm just sitting in the car. Yeah, and I can sit back like this. So that's
very nice.
So
very nice.
Anyway, there's my glass.
I got a bottle. I got your glass. I'm gonna pour me some. I am drinking the Glasgow Blend by Compass Box. I know you have shot a version of this for New York edition when you were here in New York with me. But this is the special edition for the Scotch Trooper. Got his own blend, basically. Yeah, so I have that bottle, and I was having it earlier, so I'm going to continue it.
Okay. Yeah, I was just with Scotch Trooper or Brett in Tennessee. And
That's
so
right.
He was telling me all about that release, and I didn't get to have it. But he said it was going to save me a bottle. So, Brett, remember to save me a bottle. So this is my McCarthy's. So this is from Oregon. I picked this up at the distillery, Clear Creek Distillery. It's sort of on the edge of Portland City. They use a heavily sort of peated malt that they get from Scotland, and then they do it in a pot still out in Portland. And I think it's aged for 3 years. Remember, it's not. Is it on the bottle? Yeah, it is. Aged for 3 years, and yeah. So this one's September 14, 2015. This bottling. So it's a little bit of an old one. It's from my my collection in Australia. So this one is it's an old
Very
one.
cool. What's something like that go for current one in a store in US dollars? Roughly.
US dollars, I think it sits around. Well, when I bought this one, I think it was about $50-$60.
Okay.
But that's 3 years ago.
I'm sure it's gone up now.
Yeah, so it's probably more because it's really, really good. People are starting to discover it. They're getting a little bit more distribution, I think. So that's kind of, I guess, as a product of their success. It's just getting a bit, what do you call it?
So how you been, man? What's new? It's been a few months since I met you, right?
Yeah.
What's new?
Well, I've been
What's
traveling,
shaking?
as you know. So
Yeah.
I'm always basically traveling, but I'm going to be here for another 2 months. My sister had a baby in London. What's going
Nice.
on here? It switched.
Double click it, it will switch. Either double click
Okay,
it. Or there you go.
all right. Okay, everyone. This
The
is my
whiskey's
first
working.
Instagram live, obviously. So yeah, my sister had a baby in London, so my folks are going to head over there, and I'll stay here and look after the house and the dog.
Very cool. Cheers,
So
man.
I'm here till, yeah,
Cheers to your sister having a baby.
Cheers.
First one?
Yeah, first one.
Very nice.
Fire.
Cheers. Solo.
Cheers. Man,
So for the people who are going to be watching this live, and then obviously some people will be watching for the next 24 hours, and then I post them on YouTube also, so I'll be there. More people will be watching later. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in this business and what your business is, and tell us about your glass.
Okay. How did I start? So basically started 4 years ago. And it's been a bit of a whirlwind. So we released 100 of these December 2014, and they were pretty well researched. We had help from Starwood and Balvenie. So actually, check out my T-shirt, DCS MBE. I don't know if you know this one.
Very cool.
But,
you like that? Look at that right there. Look what I did for you. Look at that.
How do you do that? Oh, look at that.
It's a bottle glorifier.
Woo! I didn't get one of those. So we did that about in 2014, and that was those. I guess those original glasses were pretty cultish now. So everyone was after those, and then a lot of people bought them as Christmas presents to give to whiskey drinkers, but no one had actually tried it except for us and in research, a bunch of people in research.
Yeah.
And so once they bought it and gave it to a whiskey drink, and a lot of people just thought it was like some sort of new, just a fandangle sort of shape. There was nothing special to it, and so they gave it to a whiskey drink, and then they realized that actually it was a legit glass that did something technical apart from just kind of looking good.
Yeah.
There you go. So then from there we did another release the next year. So the first release was 100 glasses, and those were all individually numbered back then. And then and the next release was 1,000, and those sold out in like 2 weeks. And then just haven't looked back since. So people now, like, they know it's a legit sort of technical whiskey glass. And yeah, it's been 4 years, and released the gin glass, which has gone extremely well. Which is a gin and gin cocktail glass, and the bourbon glass, which was in July this year.
Yeah, that's been really well received by the community. At least, everybody I know who's touched it, tasted from it, or has it, just always raves about it. And I think you converted some non-believers too on your trip when you came here. I think you converted some non-believers, which is nice to see. And proof is in the pudding. So that I'm actually doing this for the first time. I always believed in your glass, and I enjoy it. We talk about it all the time to other people who have not seen it. But just putting it in a normal Glencairn glass and then trying this out, the same exact whiskey. If you just knows it's a world of difference. It's no competition. So this is not just the glass. Please talk about the technology and what you did to create this glass and why it's so significant.
So what we did a bunch of research. So basically a master distiller can control what goes into a bottle, but can't control what you smell and taste. And so we bridge that gap. So my background is with a bit of engineering and industrial design, and Lily's product design engineering, and also industrial design. And so we just applied some, I guess, a little bit of science and looking at airflows and temperature control, and just making notes way more accessible. So like even the opening here, you can taste and smell at the same time, which is something that was overlooked by some of the glasses, which is ridiculous, I think, because you're just getting more information to your brain.
Right there, guys. I'm going to do the test dummy right here. Look, cannot be done. I cannot taste this and those at the same time, whereas...
There you go.
So that's what he means. And absolutely, 100%. That's a huge flaw.
Yeah, huge flaw. And then also the... so what happens in the bottom, there's a heating channel in the bottom, and that you can control the temperature. So you want to control the temperature. There's another glass on the market where it's double-walled, and you can't control the temperature, and that's an essential element. Like it's the same as adding water to a cask strength whiskey. You want to affect the temperature, and you want to be able to affect the dilution. So those are the two things that so we looked at. So we've got like a heating channel in the bottom, and basically if you palm it like that, the glass, you look like some dude out of Mad Men, but you'd also heat the whiskey a little bit.
Yeah.
And then that will gradually heat. And then if you change your grip to any other grip, so say I go from heating to just the normal hold or whatever, that will maintain the temperature just using your hand heat.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has a little bit of tech in there, and then also in the material of the glass itself. So on the website we say it's always glass, but it's one of the things that I sometimes give away in like interviews and things like that is part of our business is about under promising, over delivering. So it's actually crystal, it's lead-free crystal. And what the idea there is that after 3-4 years of you owning the glass, you'll still think like, why are all my other glasses shit and this one really, really good? Thing is, it's not actually glass, it's crystal. So that's one of the things we don't advertise. And so that allows us to have like some pretty crazy sort of profiles in the bottom, and that's what allows for the heating, and that's the reason why it has to be hand blown. Like our glasses have to be, each one of these are made by somebody.
Yeah, you know, one of the, if I may interrupt, you know, beautiful packaging it comes in. It has great information on it, and one of the things which comes inside. By the way, I love these. I use them for coasters. From time to time. I mean, they can't get too wet, I guess, but you know, my glasses are pretty, you know, dry anyway. Usually, I don't really try to spill or waste my alcohol. I don't know if I lost you, if you're still there, or it's just paused. But let's give it a second. Can you hear me, Denver? People logging in. I'm live with Denver from Australia and Melbourne, and obviously he's in a car over there, as you can see, and. Wait to see if he comes back on. Looks like I lost him. He'll be back on, and I'll add him to it again. The technical difficulties of doing an international connection. Scott Society 305 in the house. Whiskey Edge. It froze, yeah, because he lost connection. He'll be joining in again. Jerry, how you doing? Piton Todonati, how you doing? Jerry, thanks for joining in. Jindini 212. Antique, absolutely. He's a hand model. Sexy one at that. Charles, thanks again for joining in, brother, and always supporting. Yeah, Denver's in Australia, man. You know, he's always traveling. So, Tim, I'm not sure if he's still on, but how you doing? Whiskey in the 6, thanks for coming on board, brother. I appreciate you. Whiskey Sidekick, thank you. We're doing pretty well. I'm just waiting for Denver to come back on. I'm going to send him a quick message so he can log back in. Lost you. Please join again. Good old WhatsApp. Tim, how you doing? Wine Districts, how you doing? Mac, how you doing? Denver's back. Denver, give me a second. I'm going to send you an invite again. And he's back.
Yeah, sorry, the phone overheated. It just said like it was too hot.
Oh, you are in Australia.
Yeah, no, because I was in the car. I'm not sure. It's like this is a brand new iPhone XS, and I hate it. I absolutely hate this phone. I think it's almost a racist phone. Like it has this this thing where it has like the it has face detection, so there's no button on the phone. And so if it's the afternoon and there's not enough contrast between the background and my face, it doesn't recognize. And so I have to enter the code every afternoon through to the evening. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I'm done with this, man. I'm done with this phone.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
No, listen, before, with Tim, the CEO of Apple, he's a great man, but the original man who created the quality control, I felt was much better in the previous products than it is today with Apple. I mean, there's still fantastic products. Apple makes fantastic products, but I feel like it's just sales, rather than quality and stuff like that. So unfortunately, it is what it is. But yeah, we were talking about some of the people still here and more people logging in. Talking to Denver here. He's in Australia, so we had some technical difficulties a little bit. But talking about his glass and the usability and the functionality of it is legit. It's great. I have really greasy hands, so unfortunately, my glass gets dirty quick. But we were talking about being able to nose and taste the whiskey at the same time. It's extremely difficult with the traditional glass that we all are used to drinking from. With this, you can get your nose in, and you obviously the nose itself by itself is huge difference. You get a lot more out of this glass than you would with this. And one thing I wanted to add when you were talking was the point about warming up your whiskey. So some of you guys watching might not know or might know this, but whiskey is a lot very similar to your pores. Okay, when you're in the shower and there's heat, your pores open up. Whiskey actually opens up to heat and temperature. So I know traditionally being Indian, I'm used to adding ice, and that's how we drink, and our palates are used to that. But if you really, really want to taste your whiskey, you want to open up its pores. And for opening up its pores, you want to warm up the whiskey. You have a difficult time doing it with this. You could do a little bit, but you'll be missing some part of it. But with this glass, you can certainly do it. The other way with cheating, if you don't have one of these, is to add a little bit of warm water, and that opens up its pores. But the best way is, without diluting, is to have a glass like this. So that is absolutely a huge feature that I think a lot of people don't realize because they might not understand the significance of warming up a whiskey.
100%. Yeah, it's I guess for the money, Glencairn, that's a great glass for the money. But you get what you pay for. So it's like you can get from A to B in a Corolla, but you can also get to A and B in like a Mercedes. So that's how I sort of explain it. You have way more sort of control in our sort of glass. And yeah, it's horses for courses. So, I don't know. There's much I can sort of add to that.
So, what more can you tell us about, besides the glass, we talked about this, then, the Explorer pack. Talk to me about that and the wrap and the leather, the cloth that it comes with and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, the Explorer pack came from, basically I travel a lot. So anyone who's met me, I'm all over the shop. I'm generally all over the world once or twice in a year. But just keeping it in the canister was like a little bit too big, and I needed something a little bit better than that. And also for so I do a little bit of outdoor stuff, so hiking, and Lily does the same thing, mountain biking, and just something you can just chuck in the pack without having the packaging.
Yeah.
And so that's where the Explorer pack came along. So the weakest part of the glass is this rim, is this edge. So we wanted to effectively make that 3 times, or just thicker, just stronger. And so effectively that's what that does. That will curve around the edge of the glass. So you can see there, these folds. And this is, this is kangaroo skin, which I mentioned before. And those folds effectively make that 3 times as thick. And so then it's super hard to sort of break. And I tested it for 6 months before we were released, more than 6 months, maybe 9 months. And I kept a spare with me anyway, and just to see if I could break it. So I put it in the bottom of...
So you did actual field testing. You did actual field testing.
All of our stuff is like hardcore field tested. Like there's a product I'm testing now, which has been tested for 1.5 years. And there's another product which will come out hopefully early next year, which is being tested far out. That's been tested for about 9 months so far. And that's been tested in really hardcore sort of situations. So that's up in like northern Maine and up in Canada and like over in Australia. And it was in India as well when I was there. So that's a pretty cool product to come as well. It's not glass. So it's not it's something pretty different, but you'll see. It'll come.
Very cool. What
Yeah.
in the U.S.? I mean, you guys have a fantastic website that gives you great information, and it's laid out very simplistically, and it's clean. I love that. I'm a huge marketing guy, so the way your website is, it's just perfect. For those of you guys watching, obviously you can see on the bottom it says IG Live with Denver and Lively. Spell that, put a .com at the end, and that's the website.
That's it.
You guys have, I see on there, you have the Bourbon Glass. You have the Explorer Pack, which basically is this. So the Explorer Pack, you get the kangaroo leather and the glass. Is that what it is?
Yeah, you get the so the glass has like a custom sort of engraving in the bottom for the collaboration, and you get that as well. So that's the leather pouch. But this is actually my original one that I used for testing. So this is quite a while old, and it gets better as you use it. And yeah, these are super limited. I think there's on the website, we released them 2 days ago, and there's now 11 left or 10 left for the year. And so the next time we'll release is probably mid next year or towards the end of next year.
Yeah.
They don't make any financial sense. We did this because I needed a product, and they take 4 days to make each of the covers because they have to be steeped and put into water again and then reshaped on the glass that you have. Because these are hand blown, so they're individual to each other.
Yeah.
So you can't mix and match the covers. You have to use that glass with that.
Gotcha.
That cover.
Quick shout out to Gene, Taste the Dram, just joined in. Good dude. Charles from Drinking Caveman asks, really interesting about the gin glass. Additional info. So if you can, please, let's talk about the gin glass really quick. Just tell us a little bit about that, and the bourbon glass also a little bit more in detail.
Yeah, okay. So the gin glass is designed for gin and gin cocktails. That was done with 5 different distilleries here in Australia, gin distilleries, just working on the taste profile and smell profile. So there's a growing trend in gin to become tasting gin, so heading towards like barrel aged and that sort of gear. So we did a glass that works for both the growing trend and then also what most gin is used for, which is cocktails. And so that one has a 112. Oh, there might be one in the back of the car. 1 sec. Give me 1 sec.
Right next to the dead kangaroo they pull the skin off of.
1 sec.
What's that chirping? So guys who are just logged in later, basically Denver is logging in from Melbourne, Australia. So pretty cool. This is my first international live. Check out his website. On the bottom, you'll see Denver and Lively. That is the website.com. His phone keeps overheating, so we might get disconnected. He is in Australia. I'm not sure the temperature there, but I'm sure it's hot. And if that happens, he'll join in again shortly. But in the meantime, if you guys have any question in regards to the glassware, which is Denver and Lively, please post your comments here, and I'll be sure to ask Denver. I met him for the first time, and he actually did a little tour in the U.S., met a lot of different people, and everybody became a fan. Cool thing about him is he just says what he thinks. There's no filter, but at the same time, the guy's such a good guy that it's not like he's going to offend you in a really bad way. He just is really funny with his thought process, and just a really cool dude. He's well-traveled, well-versed. He's been around the world, and you can learn a lot from him if you do get a chance to talk to him about things. Really quick shout-out to Kentucky Double. It's a beautiful, beautiful leather coaster that I'm using that they sent me for the holidays. It just says, "I'll have another," which is nice. I believe they can do your own custom logo or write anything you want on there. So you could possibly put your own stuff on there, which is kind of cool. So reach out to Kentucky Double. If if you like the code, is a 20% off code for tonight's poison. So when you do use them, you can get 20% discount. That's a way to basically give reward to my followers from them. So that's really nice of them. What's the temperature there, brother?
Yellow.
Hey, what's the temperature there in Fahrenheit?
Well, you've gone really, really quiet for some reason.
You can't.
Yeah, really, really quiet.
Technical difficulties here. Disconnect and reconnect. Okay, hold on.
All right, that's
How about
fine. Can you hear me?
Okay, we are good. We're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm doing? I'm returning this phone. I'm done with this. It just overheated again. So yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So the gin glass you were about to show us, were you able to find it?
Yep, there it is. This is the gin glass. So I'm just going to open that up. So the basis behind this one is focusing hardcore on the aromatics. So that's a really big thing with the gin or the botanicals that go into gin. So this is yeah. You can see it's quite a deep base. So that's 120 mils to that edge there, which is great for sort of like Negronis and that sort of gear. So you do that, and then you add ice and garnish after that, after you hit this spot. So you don't need to, if you go over that, if your mate's doing that and going over this line, you know that he's taking the piss. So so then we add we add ice and garnish, and then you can have this with cocktails. So you've got a really, really tall sort of glass, I guess, and it's got a wider opening for ice and garnish again, to focus on that. And then it's like that basically holds the bouquet of the gin really, really well. It makes it quite perfumed. And it's a way more detailed sort of smell. So once you smell more detail, you end up tasting more detail. And that's the whole idea behind it. So I think it's about, I can't remember, I've heard various sort of stats on it, but it's like 70% of smell contributes to most of your taste. So we really, really focus on the smell there, and that also has the similar sort of properties to the whiskey glass when you're tasting. So you'll get more smell, and you get a splitting of notes on the top to the bottom again.
Gotcha. Very cool. Yeah, very good stuff. And then the bourbon glass, and you don't have to. I'm not sure, if you don't have it on you, it's okay, but you could talk about it, how it differs and stuff like that, in size and structure.
Yeah, so the bourbon glass, again, so we look at cultural aspects as well. So we spent a bit of time in Kentucky and Tennessee, as a bunch of you might know from our Instagram stories. And we did a bunch of research there, and Mick helped us out, and there's a few different companies that helped us out over there, Woodford and Wild Turkey, with what exactly are people looking for in a bourbon glass. And like the first time we went there with Lily, we were just trying to work out if it was actually necessary that we built one. Because it worked all right in our glass, but sometimes it blew you away when you had a really sort of high proof bourbon. So went over there, did on a fact-finding mission, and then worked out, it's completely different. Obviously, you're making it out of corn, which is a way sweeter sort of grain. It's not even a grain, but way sweeter sort of neutral spirit that comes out. And Correct. Then you've got the other part, which is a new American oak barrel, new charter American oak barrel, which are the laws of making a bourbon, so 51% corn. And so that created like a pretty shared profile when you're just thinking of those sort of two things when you're talking about bourbon. And there was the other parts that were really, really important, whereas the whiskey glass was designed for basically the whole profile and not a common profile. With the oak and with the corn, and so we had to make a bourbon glass that focused on that, basically on that particular area that was different between the distilleries and not the parts that were common. And so then we came up with that. It basically brings your nose closer to the surface of the liquid. It also focuses on bringing the body forward. So we noticed in bars and at distilleries, they were really focused on the body of the whiskey rather than the really fine notes or the really heavy notes. And then also like the sweetness and the oakiness and sometimes people are barrel finishing, but not so much. But mainly on those sort of points. And then pulling that through because then the cultural aspect is also the food that they have down there in the south. So you're
That's
having
really cool. They really think things through about food and the culture and everything. I mean, it's not just a glass. I mean, look at all the research and the thought process going into creating something which fits culturally, which is brilliant on your part. And it's kudos to you for being so thorough.
Yeah, thanks, man. Well, I think it's just part of my personality in general. So if
You like being thorough, huh? You like being thorough, huh?
Sorry?
You like being thorough.
Yeah, I'm pretty thorough, man. We get down to business. So, like, we don't fuck around. It's just there to actually do a good job, and it's something that I would use myself. So if we were to ever design any other product, which that's a hint for the future, that it'll be well and truly researched. Everything would have been thought of. So
give me a little bit more. So you have a new glass coming out next year. Or next year, you said. So any hints? Any teasers?
Well, do you know where I live at the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's your hint.
Oh, okay. So all right, maybe a wine glass. Okay, I like it.
No. Where do I live at the moment? Most of the year. Do you remember? So most of the year I actually live in Mexico.
Oh, I got you. Okay, yes. All right, so can I say it?
Can you say it?
I can guess it. Tequila base?
It's agave. So tequila. But that's a bit of an exclusive there. But yeah. Brilliant. That's the most researched one that we've ever done. That's been because there's so many different types of agaves, and they're so greatly different from each other. You get wild ones, and you get forested like blue agave and all this kind of stuff like that. And to try and nail that down and to get to a really solid average.
Absolutely, yeah.
It took a lot of work, and there's a lot of travel that I did in.
And tequila is growing really significantly, and high-end tequila and sipping tequila is growing. So I think this is brilliant to be able to do something like this. I can't wait to try. I personally love and enjoy tequila. I try to go out to Mexico every other year, and to visit distilleries. I really thoroughly enjoy sipping tequilas and mezcals. I love mezcals. So I can't wait to see it.
Back there in Feb.
I will try to make it out just to say hello. Yeah, to hang out. Absolutely, man. We'd love to do that. We'd love to do that. When is your test? You're already testing the product?
Yeah.
You have a glass already made, so I can get to touch and feel it?
No more comments. No more comments on that.
All right, no problem. You heard it here first. Denver just announced, without announcing, that he has an agave glass coming out next year. I can't wait. What's going to be the release timing is what, spring or summer?
No. Nothing more on that one.
Nothing more on that one. All right, no problem. That's all right. This is not the Times in New York. It's okay. No, they're cool. I can't wait. I'm excited for it. Before we got cut off the first time, I was about to talk about this little guy in here. I was talking about it as a coaster, but you were talking about how everything's made handmade, and this basically says the glass is made by man, not a machine. Accordingly, a few small bubbles may be visible. However, I've touched a few glasses of yours. I've never seen any imperfections in them. So because of its hand blown nature and stuff like that. So yeah, that's it's a significance. Like there's a lot of things which are machine made out there, and people say, "Oh my God, the glasses are kind of expensive." Yeah, but if you look at the way the design is, and Denver comes from an engineering background, and he's extremely thorough, as we learned today. There's a reason why it costs what it costs, and I think it's really, really worth it. Every single one of your glasses are worth it. I think people just gotten used to cheap shit and mass-produced, and this is fine. As you said, this does the job. But if you really want to learn and be thorough, why not have that one special glass for yourself, or two to entertain with, also with your best buddies, to do it the right way. And that's what Denver Light is all about. That's awesome.
Well, the thing is, like, someone would spend $40, $50 in a heartbeat on a whiskey, but then why not get a glass that sort of is about the same price, and that'll improve all your whiskeys forever?
Yeah, and a glass is forever, unless you break it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Unless you break it.
Yeah.
But anyway,
very cool, man.
Once you try it, you'll understand. With anyone who's in this conversation now, but yeah.
I'm sure you're already testing your agave thing with a few different tequila companies out there. But just in case, I have two companies that come to mind that would love to probably talk to you and vice versa to possibly do some things. One is, I'll just plant the seed real quick. One is a brand new tequila that they invested millions and millions of dollars. Moet Hennessy planted millions and millions of dollars with a tequila called Volcan, Volcan, and they're a huge company, as you know. So might be a good opportunity for you guys to chat together. I know the guy really, really well who's managing it and basically building that brand. And he's very Instagram friendly, so I can connect you guys. And there's another smaller company that also is doing a lot of great things over there. They just built a brand new distillery. It just opened up in April. And I was actually out there earlier this year, actually. And they might be also interested in partnering up. It is a possibility. I'm not sure if you're already working on something like that, but I would love to connect you guys.
Yeah, for sure, man. I already do. Well, behind the scenes, like I work with a whole bunch of the big ones. So Moet Hennessy, I ran their Ardbeg Day in Mexico, for example. And well, Pernod Ricard, Diageo, I don't know, Edrington, all of them. So anyway, yeah, that'll be good to hook up, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I'll get you guys connected, and you guys could take it from there. Just you never know what works, you know. And then all of a sudden you guys are getting married, and I'm attending the wedding, you know. So what else, brother? Everything else good? I mean, I know we talked about your glass. And anything else you want to add about your company for the people watching this later on or now?
Not really. We're just like hardcore going, like heading full steam towards Christmas, and that's basically taking up all my time. We've, I guess, done really well this year. The gin glass is nearly sold out again, and the Explorer is nearly gone again. And the whiskey seems to be doing really well. We've had some good retailers in the UK, so we've got Harrods and Harvey Nicks and Borough Wines and a few different ones in the UK. So I'm looking forward to probably getting back there this year. Next year, 2019.
You guys have some really good retailers, high-end retailers that carry your glassware, which is really nice to see. It's kudos to you and the quality control, and you know, people really believe in your product, and they rightly should. A lot of great shops. One thing I want to just mention to people watching is if you're looking for his glass and you just go into his place, just go to his website. Go to the website, put in your local city, and we'll find you the stores which carry it. If not, you can buy it from online, and you guys can ship worldwide, right?
Yeah, we ship worldwide, definitely. To the States, I think it's like 3 or 4 days. Or so.
But there is a store locator on your website.
Yeah. But, I need to work on that, actually, because all of the retailers that we have, I've met personally. I meet all of our guys personally, and we just don't sign up anyone, which is probably not scalable in the future, but we'll see. Like, it's such an old school way of doing business that I do it. I think it shows. Like, you've met me as well, Jazz. So in person. Oh no, yeah, you're very personable. My favorite time meeting you was at the Highland Park tasting in New York City. Everybody was like, "Wow, this was Charles pouring." All right, Charles. I'm sorry, Charles was making a comment. This was Denver pouring. Normally, you get a pour. This is your normal pour when you go into an event, right? Somebody pours you a sample. But this was Denver. Every single pour, this was Denver's pour. And we were having some really good Highland Park. At one time, I saw a supplier go like, but at the same time, they loved it too. Yeah, everyone has a time, man. Like, I hate half-assed pours. I hate that shit. I told them at the start, like, I'm going to pour like we normally pour. Like, it's not just a little tasting, but you're going to have a good time. So that's what I pour at home, and it was just like you're coming to my house for a tasting. So it was just like, it was not the normal sort of format that you would have probably seen before in New York. It was
so refreshing. It was so refreshing.
Yeah.
It was and it was a lot of fun. Very memorable. I don't think anybody in that room, and it was like 30 people there, would forget that night. I'm glad I made it out. What did you think about the video I posted on Instagram about when the last time we met?
Yeah, that was awesome. I'm so sure.
People were talking about bromance.
I didn't even know when the camera was coming on, and then you fed me. That was awesome.
Yeah, and you just went with it. But listen, man, I appreciate it. I know you're out and about, and I appreciate you coming on and doing this from Australia. Much love to you, man. Happy holidays to you and your family, to your sister for having the baby, and
Right back at you, man.
For the people watching, please support Denver. You'll be doing yourself a favor if you gift that glass to somebody or drink out of that glass for yourself. It's really quality workmanship and a lot of thought and millions of, thousands of hours, I should say, have gone into it, research of it to, really enhance the whiskey. The hundreds of dollars of whiskey you guys are drinking in a regular glass, you're not doing it justice. So please go out holiday season, gift it to yourself or gift it to your friends.
Cool. Thanks very much, man. Thanks for your time. And it's good to meet you. And it's always good to make new friends within the industry. It's so different to like wine and all that kind of jazz. Jazz, get it?
Yeah.
But we had a good time. Hopefully I'll catch up with you this year and we'll do something maybe with Compass Box actually. John Glasser knows about the glasses and the crew in New York know about them. They were looking actually doing them with a bottling or something. But anyway, we'll catch up later in 2019, man.
Absolutely. You better let me know if you ever come to our East Coast, and I will definitely let you know if I make out to Mexico. All right, brother?
I think I'll make it to the East Coast anyway. But yeah, I've got to go see my sister, so it's a hop skip. I'll just go via New York.
Cheers, enjoy, and go return that iPhone.
Yes, that's it. Game over. Done.
Wait, hold on. You know what? Since you have such a great sense of humor, this is the best way to close this. You gotta tell me some sort of a joke or a story that you want to share with everybody, because you just people who don't know you just have such a great sense of humor. So you gotta close with something funny.
Well, you met me, so like if you remember like that Edrington tasting, and I did another one in New York before. It was the most amount of F-bombs that anyone had ever heard at a tasting. So all my jokes are generally dirty. I'm not sure if it's suitable.
Absolutely, go for it.
I'm embarrassed.
Go ahead, Banjo.
No, I can't. That's. I'll tell you one off the air.
Okay. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks. Thanks again, Denver. Enjoy Australia, man. I'll see you soon. Everyone. Happy holidays, everybody. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, okay. So I'm back, and I'm not allowed to say dirty jokes, but is a little bit of an Easter egg for you, a little bit of a surprise. So I'll sing a Christmas carol as a substitute for a joke. I'm not sure if everyone has to say a joke at the end of your things, but I'm going to do a Christmas carol. So ready. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. Next year all our troubles will be miles away. Away. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. If the fates allow, hang a shining star upon the highest bough. And have yourself a merry little Christmas now. There's my Christmas carol. Cheers.
You know, stick to making glasses. Your voice is pathetic. No, just kidding. It was actually really, really good. That was amazing. I did not expect that. That was perfect. And look at this. I got the juveniles. It's pretty much done.
God.
It's very good. But have you seen this one yet?
No, I've seen the label. I never got to taste it.
It's got a bell. Look, that's what I was doing for your Christmas carol.
Look at that.
There you go. That was perfect ending, man. Thank you so much again. Appreciate it. Cheers, brother. Much love.
Good time with you. All right, cheers.
Respect.